Men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success.
Welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast with Joshua Latimer, where we discuss business, life, family, faith, struggle, fire, pain, and ultimately winning.
It's time to take massive action. Look, I can't work harder on your life or business than you do. It's ultimately all on you.
You know, God created all the food the birds would ever need, but he doesn't put it in their nest. You've got to go get it.
10 out of 10 people die. So how about doing something today that actually matters while you still can? Now, hey everybody, welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast. Josh here. What I read to you in the beginning is this mythical job placement ad from the early 1900s by a guy named Ernest Shackleton. Ernest Shackleton was an explorer, and he led a 27-man team on a South Pole expedition in the early 1900s. And not one person died on their trip, which was rare because people died constantly attempting to do these trips back in the day. As you can imagine, it'd be insane, right? They ended up getting their boat stuck in the ice. They had to walk on foot. They lost 2 years of their life doing this thing, almost dying, and then they had to get in these little boats, and it's a whole crazy thing. You can Google the story, but the reason I read it for you is this job placement ad was considered one of the top 100 advertisements in the last 100 years. Really, probably the last 200 years. The first time it was referenced was in the 40s, and it was in a book talking about the 100 greatest advertisements in the last 100 years from then, right? But I want you to understand the positioning here, right? I'll read it again. It says, men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success. Isn't that fascinating? That's amazing, right? This ad supposedly got over 5,000 applicants for this person's 27-man crew. And I guess Ernest, he made 3 piles for all these resumes and these inquiries. He had one pile called Mad, one pile called, what was it? Let me click back on the article here. Okay, here we go. One pile was called Mad, one was called Hopeless, and one pile was called Possible. So that's how he broke up the 5,000 applications to kind of sift through and build his crew. But it's funny because what his offer was, hey, do you want to risk your life for hardly any money? You might not even make it home, but you'll get honor and recognition if we make it back, right? That's a tough sell for some of us. We might think that would be a tough sell, but the way that he positioned it made it work in his favor. And it reminds me of Brian Hegarty, how his company is seasonal. My company in Michigan was seasonal. Maybe your company's seasonal. And when we're looking for employees, you have to understand that you are marketers. You're a marketer. If you have a small business, you're a marketer. The way that you talk to people, you're marketing. The way that you do or don't follow up with your customers, you're marketing. The way that you're perceived in your community, in your neighborhood, on your subdivision, everything that we do is a form of marketing. And when it comes to employees, you need to market to and for employees. And he was a master at this, apparently. But the way he positioned it made all the difference. So back to Brian Hegarty. His seasonal company can't keep people employed during the winter because there's nothing for them to do, right? When there's 3 feet of snow on the ground, you can't pressure clean houses in his example, right? So, but what he does is part of his recruitment process is they position the job as the 3-month break being a positive, not a negative. Instead of being apologetic for it and saying, hey, we're a great company, but, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go into unemployment for a couple months and, it really stinks and we're working on figuring out how to fix that. Forget about that. And we did the same thing in my company. We made it a positive, not a negative. And so when we recruited, we positioned it as this job is unbelievable. It's unique, it's different, and it's perfect for you if you like to work really hard and make a lot of money and then have some time to play, right? We give you a few months off. You can go travel, you can play. Brian's case, he has people going to Europe and going backpacking and hiking all over the place and going fishing, going skiing in Colorado in the winter, and he goes down to Florida. And it's just a great example. And I just love this ad because it's all about the way we position anything that we're doing with marketing. Think about the way that you describe your service. So if someone asks you, what do you do for a living? How do you explain it to them? Have you spent time crafting what's called your elevator pitch? Have you really thought about the words you use to describe different aspects of your business? How do you explain the vision for your company to your employees? Communication is like the highest skill set on the planet. If you can move people's heart and penetrate their heart with your words, you can do almost anything. And honestly, it's a skill you can learn. One of the things I plan on doing this year is learning more about copywriting. I don't have any formal copywriting experience. I do like to read, and I do try to be thoughtful in the way that I make posts and the way that I type things out, or if I'm doing an email to my email list. And, one of my favorite podcasts is Self-Made Man by Mike Dillard. And he said that his most valuable skill he's ever learned was copywriting. And my friend Michael Geller is an amazing copywriter. He's really deep into that world. In fact, he's going to be teaching copywriting skills inside the Sales and Marketing Super Course that's coming out for Send Jim here soon. And it's a really valuable skill set. But I think when you have a small service company, sometimes we overlook that, or we don't value it like we should. And it's a really big deal to be able to use your words to communicate a feeling to other people, and not just for employees, but in terms of just sales and marketing in general. And Mike Dillard, the guy from the podcast, he's had multiple $20+ million businesses. He is an expert at building up an email list and stuff. He's like a digital marketer guy. He sells courses. He has like 500,000 or 1 million people on his email list. And he's just a guy. He has a tiny team. He's in Texas, and he's just really, really good and thoughtful with the way that he types out his messaging for his Facebook ads and his emails. He's a humble, great guy. You should check out his podcast. But anyway, I just thought that was a good nugget today, because what was a really hazardous, risky, terrible journey for Ernest Shackleton's mission. The name of their boat, by the way, I think was called the Endurance, which is super freaking awesome. But the way he positioned that turned the tables, and he was able to have a massive amount of applications to go through to hand select the perfect team that were into honor and recognition, because the benefit was the honor and recognition. If you go back and listen, the last words in the ad were honor and recognition. It was what you can get if you get selected to go on this trip. So it's pretty cool. I think it's awesome. It's just a good nugget for a Thursday. I hope you're all doing very, very well. And for everybody that's given me an iTunes review, I just want to say thank you. Because I got a whole bunch of them, and it's awesome. And we're almost to 100 as I'm recording this. And I'm just going to read a couple out here. We have Greg Armstrong from Moonwalker Cleaning says, my company and life has been changed for the better since I accidentally found Josh through the Customer Factor. I love that you're doing 365 podcasts. You always get my mind right for the day on business and life. Thanks again, Josh. Thank you, Greg. Super appreciate you taking the time for that. Masters Window Cleaning said, I love the podcast. I listen to each one and have applied many of Josh's tips and have seen my business make steady progress. I love your commitment to make a podcast every day in 2018. That's freaking awesome. I love you guys. We have Lad Barbara. Thank you, Josh, for doing a daily show. You've got a lot of great content. I've shared episodes and even got my family listening. God bless. Hey, God bless back to you, lad. That's amazing. And the last one here, let's see. Oh, I think I read that one the other day. Let's read this one. We got King and Dave. Check this out. This review is awesome. This show is a blitzkrieg of value bombs. Josh rocks. The Office Cleaner, WPA. That is freaking awesome. Thank you guys so much. It means a ton to me. Like and share the episode if you're getting value out of it. I want to reach thousands more service companies and inspire them as well. So thank you. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, friends. And from all of us here at the Quick Talk Podcast team, we hope you loved today's show. We hope that you were inspired to become a doer and not just a listener. Apply what you've heard today in your own business and watch things change for the better. Lastly, remember that all the money in the world can't save your soul. Seek first the kingdom of God, my friends. We'll see you next time.
For more information about the Quick Talk Podcast or Joshua's other businesses, visit our website, quicktalkpodcast.com. Have a blessed day.